Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to all of you on Zoom. We see you. Shabbat Shalom to Brooklyn. Here we go. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem HaShalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem HaShalom. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Shalom HaShalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Aleichem Shalom. The words are up on the screen. Malachei Hasharei. Malachei Elyon. Mi melech. Malachei HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom. Boachem l'shalom. Malachei HaShalom. Malachei Hasharei. Malachei Elyon. Mi melech. Malachei HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's warm up our hands. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Say it to someone. Yeah, turn. Shalom to the person next to you. Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. To yourself. Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, 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 Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. Welcome, welcome wanderers and wanderers. Welcome learners and listeners. Welcome singers and seekers. Welcome weepers and wrestlers.
Welcome wishers and whisperers.
Welcome angels and activists. And artivists. Welcome everybody. ברוכות הבאות, ברוכים הבאים. מרחבה. Shalom, salam. On screen, in person, we are here now.
This Shabbat, like every Shabbat, is an invitation into presence. And presents for Hanukkah too. It's coming, don't worry. But you are really here now, and we've welcomed everyone. We're welcoming, we're continuing to welcome. Who else are we inviting into this space? The visible and the invisible, the overlooked, and I don't know what the opposite is. Overlooked, underlooked? But the parts of ourselves that we may have overlooked as well too, they are welcome. And online, we see you. You are part of this circle. You can't necessarily see. I don't know if the camera can see. You are literally 1/4 of our circle. You're part of us. We're part of you. We're sitting in one circle. So what will help you online and here in Invisible Dog in Brooklyn? What will help you to be as present as you possibly can tonight? Maybe setting an intention for yourself, what you're going to bring into the space. And to help you to tap in online as best as we can, know that there's a closed captioning that you can click the live transcript on the bottom right of your screen, if that's going to be helping you to tap in, to use the chat. Ben Friedman, our incredible associate clergy and ritual master, we'll be keeping an eye on that chat all night.
I sure will.
And we'll be voicing your voices here in the space. By the way, my name's Naomi Les. Hi. I haven't introduced myself. I apologize. And if you want to be on screen or off screen, whatever you need to do to tap into this space. And for us here in Invisible Dog, know that the restrooms, I believe, are over here, gender emancipated. And to dance and sit and stand in your spaces online and in the space here. This is wood. This is meant to vibrate, right? So feel those vibrations. It's true. And you'll feel these vibrations coming from the bass, from Alon and from Zafer on the drums, and from Jessica on saxophone and flute, and from Rabbi Noam's voice and drums, and Ben's voice, and Amichai's voice and words, and incredible beat. Nice job. So we are welcome here, and we're welcoming us to keep our masks on in this space. We'll look at your beautiful punams, your beautiful faces on the Zoom, but we'll keep our masks on except if somebody's singing. Yeah. Because we're watching you here. We see your faces. So if it's comfortable for you to turn on your camera, we see you. We see you smiling. Beth, right in the middle there. And Brenna, I see, and Daniel, we see you all there. Welcome. Hi. Wave hello. There's Jody. Hi, my sister. And Lewis. Lewis, everybody from our Lau-Lavie team. So let's be here now.
So we're back at Invisible Dog. It's been a minute. Take a look around. There might be faces you recognize. even with a mask on, or faces you don't yet know. And if you're here joining us on screen, you're with us in the circle. Anybody here with Lab Shul for the very first time? Amazing.
Welcome.
And if you're on screen, raise your hand too. Good. A lot of us are first timers because we've not done this in such a long time. It's like the first time. Being in person and in hybrid, feeling a little more comfortable to just be. So it's good to be back and good to start this Shabbat together. It's been a week. Anybody watch the lunar eclipse last night? Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Caught a glimpse. So we're bringing ourselves from a week of so much, of so many highs and lows, joys, disappointments, work, rest. I'm sure I'm not the only one who followed the news these past few days. And yeah, we're holding in our heart the disappointing and frustrating and angering news from Wisconsin. And yesterday I was in Washington Square Park at a rally to make sure that Julius Jones is not executed. And while he got a death sentence changed into life sentence, we know that that is very far from what justice looks like. And we know that this week here in New York, the DA announced that after so many years, 2 men who were accused of killing Malcolm X were actually framed. One of them is still alive. Muhammad Aziz didn't have to spend all these years in jail. So we're entering Shabbat knowing that the justice system is not broken. It was framed this way. And it's on us as this winter begins to do what we can as we have to lean into what love and justice can look like, not give up, but see what is invisible and see what is visible and what is on us to rise for. So we're entering Shabbat with that. And we're also entering Shabbat knowing that the holiday of Thanksgiving is around the corner with its gifts and challenges. Whether you love your family or you need a Xanax or whatever the origins of this holiday are, there's so much more to discover about visible and invisible. And we know that Hanukkah is coming up with its gifts. Well, some challenges, but it's mostly what's not to love. Although there's history there, it's the longest night of the year. And mostly it's Shabbat. So first of all, I invite you to take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Whether you're here in this beautiful space, whether you're home or away, wherever you're from, I invite you to put in the chat, where are you tonight? Where's home? How are you crossing the threshold into this Shabbat? On the chat, we're going to see all the locations that add to us being here in Brooklyn. And tonight, we're also marking Trans Day of Remembrance. And here in this beautiful place, the invisible dog and the theme of invisibility matters is fantastic art. Heartbreaking art, the photos and the names of people who were killed on this day of memorial simply for being who they are. And yeah, in this country, at this moment. And I'm going to invite in a moment one of our community leaders and artists, Cleo, to come up and tell us a word about your work and art and help us light the candles into Shabbat. So this is about visibility. And also on the calendar is the Mizrachi Jewish Heritage Month, spoken as a Polish Jew of many generations who grew up in Israel and always leaned into like the more exciting sounding Shabbat songs of my Iraqi neighbors. It was with joy that over the years I got to know George Mordechai, who's a cantor and a rabbi, who was a buddy here in New York, who's now in Australia. Naomi is a good friend. And we asked George to join us this Shabbat. Australia's far, so he's joining us virtually to bring his Iraqi Farsi tradition of music and liturgy. So we're really thinking whatever invisible means, it's on us to just wake up and look up and know that we really are part of a much larger ecosystem. So Shabbat is an opportunity to sit, to stop. If you showed up, I know you need it. I know I do. Let's take another breath. There's been a lot. I look around the circle, and it's really been a long time since a lot of us were in person. And some of you I have not met yet. I want to welcome Ahlam, who joined us, who I just met, a leader in the Arab-Israeli community that makes justice happen. Welcome, Mahaba. And I know we have mourners here tonight who have joined us, fresh from dealing with grief. Welcome. We're here to hold space for all of that. Seems like the heating thing here.
That's welcome.
It's a thing?
That's welcome.
Turning it off. Okay, good. Although it won't be cold. Walk around and see the photos, see the art. If you feel like you need to stretch and move around, do that. And I want to invite Cleo Mizrahi, my sister, our sibling, our teacher of many, many faces and names.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Also, Salam Alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
So
Salam.
this Shabbat for me is Tidor Shabbat, which stands for Trans Day of Remembrance. The good thing is I don't have to be here twice because the rabbi was able to squeeze in two identities for tonight, both the Mizrachi and the queer identity. I'll get a discount for the next one. So I thought it was interesting thinking this week being Trans Week of Awareness, which is 7 days, is also the 7 days of Shiva. When we sit in mourning, grieving our process of our ancestors, to be able to come together and try to let go of those that we've lost and as well as honor. And I think it was very interesting that they were both simultaneously together. And I was thinking of that consciously when I was curating this show tonight. We can't truly forget. We can't truly let go. I don't believe there's ever a right or wrong way, but we are here. We are light, we are kindred spirits, and we're gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward for the world that we want to see. And I'll finally say a nice mix of the Jewish and queer identity. When I was a little child, I grew up in a more Orthodox environment. And my mother, during Shabbat candles, was lighting, before the Shabbat Queen came in, this was a very powerful ritual, right? But this was something that I was told only cisgender women are allowed to have access. Now, in all gender bending, liberated Jewish environment, everyone's welcome to participate. But there was something calling inside. I didn't understand it, but something inside said, there is power in that light. There is power in this tradition, and I want to be a part of it. And I think long ago, my neshama, my soul, was already saying at a young age, this is where you belong. This is who you are. We are asking you to come forward as yourself. And that was a journey, going from orthodoxy to a space like here, and here I am. And I would like us all, yes, we could all. I think as we think about in our tradition of bringing more light into this world, I believe that light comes through our authenticity, through our shared stories, our experiences, our challenges, the human history that is constantly evolving, both Jewish and non, friend and ally. So thank you everyone for showing up tonight, and let's move forward with love, peace, and good brachas.
Amen, amen.
So before I invite Cleo to light the candles, no, please come, make your way to the altar. I want to do two things. First of all, I want to invite you, if you feel so called, to thank our digital friends and family. I'm going to turn mine off for the next 24 hours. So feel free to turn yours off, at least for now. The moment of unplugging is a ritual of saying, I'm here now, just here. That's my Shabbat. If you feel comfortable, I know Ben is going to keep his on because he's going to moderate for us some of the responses coming from y'all online. And the answer the question we want to ask us all as we light the candles is, who do you want to invite tonight? Who are the invisible friends, the ancestors, the guests, teachers, the souls you want joining us tonight? Feel free in the chat to put the list, the guest list. Who are we inviting? And those of us here, start thinking, start noticing, who do you want here tonight? Who will fill our circle? And in a moment, we're going to read some names. And now we're going to invite you to light our candles, Cleo. Yeah, I think the sun has set. The Sabbath Queen is ready to descend. And there's a candle here for memorial. And there are 2 candles for Shabbat. And if you at home have your Shabbat candles ready to go, this would be a beautiful moment to do so. Daniel, I'm seeing you. May these Shabbat candles give solace to your soul after this week of mourning for you and your family. And if you got a flame, look into it. We're getting ready to stare into flames. 'Tis the season.
So I'm going to use the Hanukkah melody as a sign of rededication, and because we all won't be in a huge circle like this, we'll all be online for Hanukkah. Please join me and bring in that light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
Can I share some of the guests that we've
Yeah,
got?
so let's see who we got here tonight. Who are the invisible guests at the Invisible Dog?
We've got Brenna's grandma, Teresa, who loved this rabble-rousing lesbian, amen ve'amen. We've got Jeffrey's mother, Elaine Barg. Back here a little bit, we had Rachel English's chosen trans ancestor, Victoria. We've got Grandpa Irv and Grandma Arlene. My parents, Louis and Carol, Zichrona Livracha, blessed memory. And we've got Madeline and our father, Robert Les, Grandpa Norman and Grandma Esther Nyman, Grandma Seal and Grandma Philip Les. Love to them all so much. Martin Buber, he's here tonight.
Okay, welcome Martin Buber.
Woohoo!
Who doesn't love a Buber? So who else is here tonight? Anybody here wants to share an invisible friend you feel like? Thank you, Helene, for bringing Helene Khan. I feel her energy. Thanks. Jerry Moss. Okay. Okay, she'll sit perfectly fine with Martin Buber. They'll have a lot to talk about, Rabbi Naomi.
My friend Sequin, my
Sequin. Beautiful. I'll bring Harry Hay. Why not? Let's queer this up. One more? Okay, thank you.
And we've got one more here, inviting the past ancestors of this land and the future ancestors of this land to help us bring in Olam Haba.
Beautiful.
So we bring in all these invisible guests on Friday night because when the Sabbath Queen arrives within, she likes an entourage. Who doesn't? And one of the poetic forays into this Friday night to help us say goodbye to the week of doing and into being is this poem we inherited from the 16th century called Yadid Nefesh, beloved of soul. This is an invitation for the invisible friend within that we all have, that we all are. This was written by a Sufi mystic who traveled between the worlds, Rabbi Elazar Zikri, and left us 4 verses. We're just going to sing one tonight. George is going to give us his version of Yadid Nefesh live. Well, not live, but recorded from Australia.
We're going to sing live with him.
But we're going to sing live with him. And the words about you, my invisible friend of the soul, I'm dancing with you. I want to run towards you. Like
Hi,
a gazelle.
Shul, and thank you so much for
there he
inviting
is.
me to participate with you all in Mizrachi Awareness Month. We are great fans of the work of Rabbi Amichai and Naomi and Shira here down under at the Emmanuel Synagogue. Okay, friends, this is Yadid Nefesh. It's a very, very beautiful, beautiful melody, and it is from the Bnei Israel community of India, in fact. The first part of it, the part A, if you like, is from their community. It was taught to me by Rabbi Braham David, a good friend of mine, and also Rabbi Amichai's. And I heard it on a recording that he gave me, and I learned it also. I learned it from his dad, spoke with his dad a little bit about it. So it does come from the Bnei Israel community of Jews that lived in the area close to Bombay and that have been in India for centuries, actually. I composed a B part to it, that sort of cascading, descending melody that you'll hear in the B part, just to give it a little bit more variety. But it is essentially a Bnei Israel melody. And in a sense, I just wrote a B part to it. So Yadid Nefesh, Av Harachaman Meshoch Avdach El Ritzonach, a soul-made loving source of all life, compassionate, gentle source. Take my disposition and shape it to your will. So we'll start just singing it as a nigun, and then we'll go over the first verses together. Ya la 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 na 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 ya la 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 ya da 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 di da na ya la 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 ah la 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 Yadid Nefesh Abhar Haman Meshoch Abdach El Ritzonah
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 Yarutz Avdach Kmo Ayal Ishtahave El Mulhad Darach
Yarutz Avdach Kmo Ayal Ishtahave El Mulhad Darach
Ye'erav Lo אותך מנוף עצוב וכל טעם. יערב לא ידידותך מנוף עצוב וכל טעם. ידיד נפש הרחמן משוך עבדך אל רצונה.
ידיד נפש הרחמן משוך עבדך אל רצונה.
أبحر خمان مشوق عبدك الرتنا.
يديد نفش عبر خمان مشوق عبدك الرتنا.
يديد نفش أبحر خمان مشوق عبدك الرتنا.
Shabbat shalom, George. Shabbat shalom. Let's just take a breath, a moment here, with that energy. Just say thank you. Just say, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for hearing me. Noticing just a moment as you exhale over and over again. I'm a big fan of the exhale, so focus, we always focus on the inhale. How about the exhale? Yeah, sound it out. Thank you for seeing me. Just take a moment, even if you close your eyes or find your feet on the ground, whatever is just your moment of exhale. Who saw you this week? Who did you see? Who really saw you this week? Thank you. Thank you for hearing me. Who heard you this week? Really heard you between the lines. What wasn't said? Who did you truly listen to? We'll sit with that just for one moment. One exhale. Thank you for breathing me. Thank you for breathing me. Thank you for breathing.
So we invite Sinead O'Connor, who wrote these words, as she is now known by a name of choice, Shuhada, to remind us how to be grateful. In this week in which we are invited to really, really be grateful. One of the hymns chosen for this time, this threshold between the week and the weekend, between the 6 days of work and the 7th of rest, from around the same genre of Yadid Nefesh, Rabbi Shlomo Al-Kabetz, a neighbor of Rabbi Elazar Zikri, another seeking Jew who liked it fluid and went from the Sufi to the Kabbalist to the non-gendered, non-binary reality that the divine is all and none, and that the game is to dance. And he created this poem for Friday night to invite the Sabbath Queen within. And it is called Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala. Come on, lover, dance with the bride. Come on, bride, dance with a lover. These are inner binaries. These are metaphors. This is the mind and the heart, the body and the soul being invited to find unity when we are so torn in so many ways. So on Shabbat, we are invited just to be. So we asked George, who you've already met, to lead us into this Lecha Dodi, to dance our way into Shabbat, Iraqi style.
You've heard
The
this
Chadodi,
ballad,
first and foremost, and it's to the melody of, or to the tune of Yaribon that we sing in the Iraqi Jewish communities around the world. And this particular version of it was taught to me by my family. So hope you enjoy it, and I hope you sing along. Yaribon to Lechadodi. So Lechadodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat Nekabela.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekabela Pene Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekabela שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתפילה לך דודי נקרא מתוך ההפכה רב לשבת בעמק הבכה והוא יעמוד עלייך נמלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, עורי, עורי, שיר תברי, כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה.
The fourth and the last verse of Lecha Dodi, as we thank George for his Australian Iraqi flavor, is when we invite the invisible friend to enter our heart. One of the sweetest and weirdest traditions we got is that we bow towards the sunset when the Queen Shabbat arrives. So I invite us to bow towards each other. Find someone in this room who is your Sabbath Queen, as you are hers and theirs. And in the Zoom rooms, fellow worshipers, bow towards each other and towards yourself, towards us. From your knees and your gut all the way down, we bow, inviting presence, regal, invisibility, visibility.
Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala. Gam b'simcha u'b'tzara. Toch emuneh am segula.
Wow, I don't think we've had a conga line yet.
All right.
Don't worry, there'll be more, there'll be more.
So I think
More at the end, promise, promise.
I think I think the Sabbath Queen is in the house. When we sing Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, we are singing, I am welcoming the face of Shabbat. So I want to invite those of us who are here in the room to for just a brief second, if you feel up to it, to remove the mask and look at someone's face. Just look at the face, beyond the mask. It's okay. For a second. Shabbat Shalom. See what Shabbat face looks like. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can do the eyes. Hi, Manju. Oh my God, suddenly I recognize you beyond the mask. And friends online, you're with us too. We see you. However it is we come together. And blessed be all the ways that we have weathered this long and not quite over pandemic to show up face to face in all the ways we can. So I want to invite us for a few moments to reflect on what does it mean to be here now. And I want to ask us a question here in this room and those of us with us virtually. And I also want to thank Randy and the incredible team that's making sure that we are virtual and hybrid. It is not a simple operation. Can you name a gift that you have received from wrestling with these many, many months of isolation? Take a moment and own that. Some of us were home alone. Some of us were with others. It's getting better here in New York, not everywhere, not all the time, but we're looking at it from a different angle a little bit. So I want to ask you, and feel free to put your brief answer in the chat. Can you name a gift from wrestling with these many, many long days of isolation? Ben is going to share with us in a moment some of what's going on, but really this is a question for us, for our souls. Felice, I saw you had your hand up. Blessed be community that you found while wrestling with loneliness. Me too, a lot of us. Thank you, Felice. Yeah. Deeper self-exploration and examination. Yeah, thank you. Sarah?
I learned how to practice patience and acceptance and learn to just be.
Patience, acceptance, and just being. Wow, a big New York City lesson. One more. Yeah, what's your name? Martine. Oh, Martine. Oh my gosh. Hi, Martine. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. Feeling the hurts that we're not usually allowing ourselves to feel when we have wrestled or are wrestling. This comes up. Are there a couple from the chat you want to share, Ben?
Yeah, we've got appreciation. We've got a kid. This kid is what's in the chat. So this kid came out of this isolation. The gift of more time with children in general. Many people are sharing that. More time for music, starting to write poetry, connecting with my creativity, discovering my introvert side, fire pit and wine, permission to sit still and be. More time with kiddo before they left for college. Yeah, a lot of people are feeling that blessing of having time that otherwise would have been diverted somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep them coming. What I want to invite us to think about tonight is on the Jewish calendar, the story that is told in a synagogue and screen near you this Shabbat is a story of wrestling with alone to find the gift of being. And I too, during these many, many months, as you said, Felice, found what it was like to discover resilience, that it's okay to be alone, that I can handle it, that I'm really not alone, even if I'm physically alone. I discovered something about patience. I discovered trees. Hugging trees, looking at trees. Hi, trees. So we're here today to talk about what it's like when we wrestle and when we discover what it's like to become. And I want to take us to, before we go to this verse, there was a piece of art I wanted to show you. Can we go back one slide? Thank you. So I hope you folks online seeing and folks over here, this is, and we're in an art space, this is Gauguin. I hope I'm pronouncing it all right. This is Paul Gauguin from 1888, and it's called Vision After the Sermon. This is the sermon, people. You're getting it before. And what's happening here is a bunch of Breton women in church looking at Jacob wrestling with the angel. I'm going to keep this up there for a moment. The story that we're focusing on is Jacob wrestling with, I'm saying angel just as a filler, but Jacob wrestling with other. Here's the story. If we can go to the next slide, please. Just a bit of the text from Genesis. Jacob is our ancestor. We're in the book of Genesis. The weekly Torah portion is Vayishlach. After many, many years away from home, he's coming back home. He was a runaway teen from a dysfunctional family. He found love with 4 different wives. It's complicated. He had 13 children, amassed a fortune, and now he's coming home. And this is the night of homecoming. He's about to cross the river into Canaan, the land he left behind. And the family has been sent ahead. Vayivater Yaakov levado. Suddenly, Jacob is left alone. Here's the patriarch, the man of a huge family. And suddenly he's alone. How often does that happen? Of choice or not? Vayavek ish imo ad alot hashachar. Some strange person, an ish, maybe a man, wrestled with him until the rising of the dawn. And finally, after all this wrestling, he said to him, that stranger that may have looked like his brother and may have been himself, and maybe it was God, and maybe it was his demons, his shadows, those things we wrestle with, said to him, what's his name? And he said, Yaakov, Jacob. And that creature said to him, yeah, not so much. That name tag can go now. From now on, you're not Jacob, the one who sneaks and grabs the heel, which is what you were named at birth. Your new name is Yisrael, Israel, the one who wrestles with the divine and with humans and prevails. The sun rises, and Yisrael, Jacob, limps away from the battle, a new man. Something happened during that night. He has wrestled with himself, and he's limping, but he's changed. And it happened because he was alone. Something happens when we, Martina, as you said, when we're allowed, or we allow ourselves to lean into alone, something happens. Now, what's going on here? This is not just an isolated moment. Here's where the mythological story has history and meaning, perhaps to every single one of us, wherever we are tonight, and to this country, the United States of America, to Israel, where I'm from, to every place on earth, and every human and being too. Let's look at the next slide. This takes us backwards. Many years ago, the reason Jacob ran away from home is because he cheated his father. Because in a complicated family moment of fighting for the birthright, and you're watching Succession, you know what I'm talking about. He cheated his father. He wore his brother's hunting gear, his twin brother. He faked being his older brother in order to get the birthright. And when his father, who is blind, Yitzchak, is asking him, doesn't feel like it's this Esau, the firstborn, getting it. Like, is that you, Esau? And what does Jacob do? He lies. Lau-Lavie, he comes to his father and said, Father, my father. And he says, I'm here, Hineni, that big word. Who are you, my son? And Jacob lies and says, oh, it's me, I'm Esau, your firstborn. And he gets the check. And then he has to run away because Esau wants to kill him, no surprise. Throughout his life, as he is making a fortune and a family and a name for himself, that lie is haunting him. That theft is haunting him. And here's the moment when he crosses the river, when that stranger asks him, what's his name? For the first time, he tells the truth. I'm not Esav, I'm Yaakov. That's who I am. And I am carrying the wound of lying. And I'm carrying the heart of stealing. And I am carrying the speed bump upon speed bump of not being who I want and need to be. So when you are left alone, you are invited to wrestle with your demons, with our shadows, with the truth we'd rather be invisible. But it has got to become visible if we want to heal. And what is happening tonight throughout is that we are making the invisible visible because we want to heal, because we want to wrestle with the demons and the shadows, with the unspoken truths, with the lies, with the theft, with a generation of unacknowledged supremacy in all its forms that landed Jacob as a limping man across the river and is the birthright of our people, Israel. How do we heal? By wrestling, not by looking away. And that's the lesson we are learning from the story on this week. Thanksgiving is coming up, an opportunity to thank, yes, but to look at the land and its history, the theft and the anguish. What is the real story of Thanksgiving? Who are the First Nations who held and are holding both the wounds and the opportunities of healing in this land? That is the story of Thanksgiving. We're invited to lean into with gratitude, with sorrow, and to wrestle so we can heal. We know that this country is wrestling, perhaps not sufficiently, with a racist legacy, with the anti-Semitic reality, with the othering, with the division, with a capitalist price that is keeping so many away from the simple truth of dignity. These are things worth wrestling with. And when we are left alone, as we have been these many months of pandemic, for many of us, it's an opportunity to say, I cannot hide anymore. Behind my mask, behind my screen, my gated community. No. There are invitations here to wrestle so we can heal. The invisible must become visible, no matter how painful it is. According to the Zohar, Jacob wrestles with the other on what is now Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. So every year we're invited to do it personally. Each one of us, where am I not living up to my sense of realness? Where are my lies? Where am I? I've swallowed lies of identity that are keeping me away from being the ethical, moral, happy person I want to be. So this is not Yom Kippur, we're entering Hanukkah. But every night can be an opportunity to wrestling alone because we want to with truth. So we can heal. So I want to invite us to think about that tonight and think what each of us can do tonight and make the invisible visible. As we've invited tonight to think about our trans family that for years has been invisible, but right here. And the fact that the Jewish community in this country is saying there's a month to honor Mizrachi Jewish living, where Ashkenazi normative, like European, has been the this is how you Jew. No. Invisible is visible. There are so many ways for us to say, get beyond what you know, to open your eyes wider. There's an ecosystem here waiting to be what makes us better at being we. Yesterday, I took a couple hours off in between meetings and went for a bike ride in the park. It was awesome. The trees are glorious. And as I biked around, I suddenly thought about this photo, this picture that Gauguin. Do you see what's in the middle of the picture? A tree. It's not about Jacob and the demon. It isn't about those pious women praying and looking at the Bible in church. There's a tree in the middle of this masterpiece, because the trees, nature, Mother Nature, what we are fed with is invisible for too much of our time. And he's saying, y'all, look at what matters. The trees are beautiful, not just in the fall where they personify death in this haunting, gorgeous way that reminds us of mortality and beauty. So take a look at that tree. And may I remind you that the Hanukkah menorah that we're about to light was once upon a time a tree, the goddess of nature. And if you're curious about that, you can join me on Hanukkah week at Secret 7 to learn about the history of the menorah. But that's a plug for another moment. We are here to heal. We're here to look at the wounds, think about the gifts that we received in isolation. And may we each find the way to wrestle on this night and the nights ahead with what we have learned, with what we are learning, with how we can heal ourselves and each other, this country, this planet, not by looking away, by wrestling and saying like Jacob, here's who I am. And then we'll become the wrestlers we are destined to be. And we might limp away, but we'll be real. And we can heal. So let's turn on the lights to heal and to see. And I invite us to, at home and in the circle, breathe into the limping, into the wounds. Exhale as Naomi has taught us some of the gifts and some of the pain. And with your next exhale, I invite you, if you are able to, please rise. Good to sit, do so.
this time, this season. The hour rolls back. The moon hides in a cold fog, alone on a city street. Early darkness, night walk. I shuffle on in lonely step, but the ghosts of the day are near. I feel almost something squandered. There is such grief at this time of year. And yet, at evening, looking deep into dead of night, there is such wanting, so much to wrestle with. There is such aliveness here. Here are gifts that darkness brings to those that honor its flow. A quality of rest, a relinquishing of looking and being looked at, a willingness to be in transition, eclipsing, renamed, unknown. Friends, be amazed as hours pass and day undoes its light. Welcome, darkness. Welcome, friend. Welcome, welcome, night. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'aravim.
Presence of the infinite who choose to live this life with love. In the presence of the infinite, we choose to live this life with love and in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher banu be'ahava.
Listen, wrestlers. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושכבך ובקומך וקשתם לאות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך
Jacob, after that wrestling, maybe had a good night's sleep that night. Maybe. At least he exhaled, I hope. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Source of peace, let us sleep tonight in peace and rise tomorrow with ease, eager for another day. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. May that sukkah shelter us from above and from below as we travel together. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al ha'olam. In the presence of the infinite, let a shelter of peace extend its non-binary, never-ending tentacles as far and as wide as the inner eye can see, to all.
The invitation for roof over our head that will give us peace is both physical and metaphysical. The sun has set, the night is here. It might be full of terrors and it's full of invitations for wrestling with our inner peace. So we're entering now this moment in our journey where we get to rise for what it is we need, for what it is we have the courage to wrestle with. This is the Amidah. This is when we stand, if we are able to. And more importantly, rise inside to find some silence, asking ourselves, what is that which I need to wrestle with so I too can receive the gift? May my lips find what my heart needs in these moments of quiet together.
Aleinu. It's on us. It's on us to show up for our wider communities, especially during this season of gratitude. I'm Stefan, and I'm one of the hosts of the Feast team, and thank you. And also the program manager for our new Passage Adult Bar Mitzvah program. And so, did you know that more than 1.5 million New Yorkers experience food insecurity? Want to do something to help? On Monday, December 6th, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., the Manhattan JCC is hosting a drive to support New Yorkers in need. You can donate dry and canned goods, diapers, and sanitary products like pads and tampons. And to spread the love, you can also learn how to organize a drive at your own school or building. Don't live in New York? Sadly, food insecurity is a problem everywhere. I invite you to look up a local food pantry or community fridge near you to offer your support. For those of you here at Invisible Dog, you can even drop off produce at the closest community fridge at 136 Lawrence Street. Say it with me, Aleinu, it's on us.
Aleinu, 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 Aleinu,
Feel free to stay standing, or if you're comfortable, sit. We're going to be here for a few more moments as we wrap up. Before we say Kaddish together, and I'll invite Rabbi Noam, who led us in this gorgeous nigun for the month of Kislev, to say a few words. So we are holding our trans family on this week of remembrance through full kavanah with all the other mourners who are gathered here today. I want to just invite you to what's coming up, since Lab Shul is still on the hybrid train of being here in person, which is such a miracle to hear each other sing. And for those of you who are joining us so beautifully online, we're here. We're still hybrid. We're figuring it out. We're going to be together this week. Tomorrow morning, Shira is going to be leading Shabbat morning for children of all ages. I know there are quite a few fans in the house. Shira, I see you.
Harry's our biggest fan of Shabbat morning over there. He's nodding.
I see it. Harry, you'll be there too. On Sunday, recollect our gathering to really hold those of us who are mourners. Naomi will be holding this space as part of our Yizkor ongoing place to grieve, to wrestle, and that's going to be at 8 p.m. Information on our website, or if you're here, talk with Naomi afterwards.
Or Lori or Dina, you can speak with
Yeah,
them as well
are
too.
many
Yeah.
holders of holy space.
Sandy's here too, I think also, yeah.
Soul Spa is every Monday at 3 p.m. for 30 minutes of meaning making and meditation. I'll be leading it this week. And Hanukkah is coming up. And that's starting on the 28th. We'll be on every night for the 8 nights with 30 minutes of virtual lighting, spotlights and highlights of different aspects of our community. You're all invited. All the information is on our website. It's been emailed. You'll get a lot of emails about it. In fact, every day you'll get a little gift from us with like how to light it up and make sure we wrestle with the darkness, with all the love that we can bring to the dark and to the light and to each other together. Much more happening. We're running out of time. So I'm going to ask us to take a breath. And I want to invite Rabbi Noam to please give us the kavanah.
Rabbi Amichai. In the theme of making the invisible visible, I want to uplift that tomorrow is Transgender Day of Remembrance, November 20th. It's a time where we honor the holy lives of trans people who have been stolen from us by transphobic and transaggressive individuals and by systemic violence. So in this past year, in 2021, 375 transgender people worldwide have been murdered. And these faces around us are some of those people. So I truly invite you to walk around the room, look at these gorgeous faces of people that became ancestors too soon, and really honor them. And there's a prayer. Should be a slide. Oh, there we go. So if you'd, I invite everyone to join in and read this prayer with me. And if there's particular words or sentences that speak to you, you can join in, and you can also just listen and take them in. May we honor the ones whose flames were extinguished far too soon. May we and all transgender human beings someday know what it is to feel safe, whole, held, loved, and nourished by our various communities. May our bonfires burn powerfully, and we continue onwards towards Geula Shlema, complete redemption, both in body, spirit, and beyond. And so may we honor and sustain and support and respect trans people, especially Black and brown trans women, so that they can live long, healthy, and safe lives. Amen. And so now's the time where we say Kaddish together. So for folks here in Brooklyn, in a moment, I invite you to share the names of people that you're holding closely right now and remembering. If you're marking a yard site or carrying someone's name with you throughout the year, please share their name here. And also for folks zooming in, please write the names of your beloveds in the chat, and Ben will read them out loud. Thank you so much. So we'll share those names simultaneously. Invite you into the space.
Jeff Langley, Elaine Barg, Suzanne Straight, Shoshana Bat Sarah Mayer, Matthew Lunan, Gertrude and Harry Miller, Irving Applebaum and Arlene Applebaum, Dr. Bernard Otterman, Mark Silver, Susan Wolin, Manfred Lewin, Cookie Cooperstein, Edward Zerndorfer, Harry Stern, Alice and Irving, Rose Kolodny.
If you're able to, and you'd like, invite us to rise.
Kadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrach Yirteh, Ve'amlich Malchuteh, Ve'chayechon, U'v'yamechon, U'v'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'g'adala V'zman Kariv Imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Olamei Amen. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalel Shmei D'Kudisha B'richu Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechmata Tamran V'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah Mitzshemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imel Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imrumav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. V'imru
Before we say thank you to every single one here and here in its widest sense, to all the co-creators of tonight, to the Sabbath Queen who has graced us with their presence, I want to invite us to really take to heart what it means and what it takes to co-create community. And what it means, as Felice reminded us, that at the heart of difficult moments, and many will continue no matter what, it does take community to remind us that we're not alone. When Jacob was alone, Vayivater Yaakov levado, back in 1993, I was a barely coming out young gay man by myself in Israel, so worried by the Israeli-Palestinian crisis that was engulfing me, lost in my own homophobia reality in the closet. And a brave soul came out with an article that was entitled, the name of the writer was Yaakov Levado, Jacob Alone. It was the very first article by an Orthodox rabbi about being gay and Jewish. And suddenly I was not alone. I had a community. That is Rabbi Steve Greenberg, who's become a dear friend. And Sandy Dubowski can tell you more about him. And Steve and so many of us remind us what it's like to build community, to not be alone, as we are reminded tonight. So this is an invitation for you to help us co-create Lab Shul by bringing your gifts, by showing up, by bringing your art, by bringing your love, by bringing your talent to the ways we support mourners and the feast team, by being on the board. There are a few board members here today, by just showing up. And should you want to add generosity to that via your bank account, Venmo is standing by, because it takes a lot to co-create this. The virtual, the in-person, the space. Help us make sure that we're not alone on this and every night. So thank you for your generosity.
We have our next slide that has our Venmo on it, I believe so.
Yeah, well, you know how to find us. And we trust you. Is the holiday season of generosity. Let the gifts gift on.
We should
I
go
want to thank,
back to that slide. We'll get you. We got you. Okay.
I want to say special thanks to all the volunteers who helped us set up tonight, as you always do. Thank you. To the composers of our ancient and modern melodies. And there is a screen that will
Georgiana, can you bring it
go
to
back with
whoever's to
all the
side?
names of all the folks who have created music for us tonight. I want to thank Cleo for bringing us such powerful imagery tonight, for your beautiful courage and words. And I want to say that Cleo's art is for sale on their website. I'm buying one of them, so you all better hurry up, but thank you. Cantor Rabbi George Mordechai in Australia. Bless you, brother. You might watch this. He's keeping Shabbat right now. I think Shabbat might be out in
He's going to watch
Australia.
this, so everybody wave to him. He's going to watch this.
Shukran, Habibi. To Alon, who joined us. Welcome. Amazing. Thank you. To Jessica, who's back. Blessed be. Oh my God. To Zafir, we couldn't be here without you. Maybe. Rabbi Noam, who joined us with a beautiful leadership in music. Ben, for your poetry. Naomi, for your leadership. There's a lot of people here on stage, off stage, the Lab Shul team, the Visible Dog team, all of us co-creating sacred. The tech team is working on and off.
And speaking of co-creating, we're going to actually co-uncreate by stacking chairs.
Oh yeah, great.
Where is that going to go? Where do we put
stacking
our stuff?
chairs? Remember that? That's so pre-COVID.
Head that way. Marika will show you what to do after we finish. Oh gosh. Thank you, Marika.
I am willing to bet that a lot of us are ready for a drink of any sort. If you're online with us, thank you for your patience. It's not easy to be in ritual space from home while we're here in person. May we be together as we can in all the ways we can. If you got something to drink, I see Lorraine.
There she is.
You've got your cup raised. I invite you to unmute. And we're going to raise a glass to abundance, to transformation. There'll be more drinking tonight, whatever. May your cup be full with abundance and gratitude. Lorraine is one of our leaders in the Generate program and is in Massachusetts, but is a digital partner. And we thank you for sharing this blessing of wine with us. Would you unmute, Lorraine, and offer the bracha?
She's shaking her head, meaning she can't unmute. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Did you get a pop-up that says unmute? So Sylvie, can you ask Lorraine to unmute with your fancy buttons over on your computer? How are we doing? Lorraine, you look great.
I just did.
There you go.
Thank you. Glad you read my
We're going to bring you back into the speaker because we're not hearing you quite yet, so hang tight. Lots of different kinds of, every single thing that we're doing tonight takes 7 hands to do. So that's another pitch for helping these digital programs to happen. It takes a lot. Let's try it again.
You ready?
Talking? No. Okay. Yeah, just do it. Yeah, put the.
Oh yeah, I have to.
Can we, Ben, can you try and unmute?
Lauren, we're gonna go old school.
Okay.
So while we are
Here we go.
figuring out the tech glitches, wait, I hear something.
No,
That's
that's
me.
Amichai. But Lorraine, try to speak right now.
Okay, I'm trying to speak. Can you hear me? You hear me?
Perfectly.
Bracha at Ya Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam Boret Pri Hagafen. A toast in the presence of the infinite. We savor the blessings. Wow, I have to go back to the previous slide, please. We savor the blessing of transformation, vine to wine.
Amen.
That was worth waiting. Lorraine, Lechaim. And in
Chaim.
case you missed it, that was the blessing of the feminine to our great Sabbath Queen and her abundance. Shabbat Shalom. And there is one more taste that's waiting for us, and that is the braided bread. Kohenet Shamira is with us tonight. Thank you, our leader, priestess. I see that you are preparing your hands. I invite you all to rub your hands together. Honor the hands that work so hard. We're about to break bread together. If you feel like braiding your hands with each other in some way, in the room or on the screen, such an honor to have you here, sister, representing the worlds of Kohenet and Romamu and all the spirits, not to mention Brooklyn. Bring it on.
Test, there we go. Having you all in mind. Having you all in mind. The braids, the strings of the braids interconnecting us all in this moment. Brucha at Shechina, Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam, Motzia Lechem min haaretz.
Amen. We have a little Hanukkah song to kick off the post party. Are you ready to sing along? Ready, Ben? I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a bright night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a bright, bright night. Feeling, ooh, ooh. That tonight's gonna be a bright night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Come on. That tonight's gonna be you ready to sing? Here we go. Tonight's the night. Let's light it up. I got menorah. Let's juice it up. Go out and spread it. Just listen up. Pull out your dreidel. Let's spin it up. I know that we'll have a ball. Sit down and go out and just light it up. Illuminate it and won't let it go. Let's go way out in space. Now we're losing all control. Fill up my cup, everyone. Mazel tov. Look at the candles. Just
slide them up, go to the blackers. Let's flip them down, let's burn some oil, and then we'll do it again. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's light it up, do it, let's do it, let's do it, do it, do it, let's do it, and do it, do it, 'cause I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a bright night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a bright, bright night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a bright night, that tonight's gonna be a bright, bright night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a bright night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a bright, bright night. Hey, happy early Hanukkah and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Have
Don't
a
forget
good
to
night.
fold your chair.
Fold your chairs.